Why is child marriage legal in most of the United States? What is something socially acceptable today that might get banned in the next 100 years? The way we willingly share our information online. Eventually, the pendulum is going to swing to the other side and we are going to limit what companies take from us. Granted, I do feel like this change is not going to come out of goodwill, but it's going to happen nonetheless. Going to work sick. Especially now. There's no way that it should be allowed to force your employees to come to work while suffering from an illness that could be spread to other employees. Tail docking and ear cropping as breed standards in dogs. Unless they are legit working dogs, it's basically mutilating an animal for no good reason. Any commercial directed towards children under the age of 12. This is already in practice in a few European countries. The United States wise, I really think we are going to come down on these lifetime politicians. Also the amount of lobbying that takes place that does not have the voters in mind and the amount of money they make. Companies demanding unnecessary personal information to do business with you. I want to exchange cash for goods. You do not need my name, phone number, home address, credit card, social security number, and to set up a store account. The breakdown of socially accepted/agreed upon knowledge. A majority of the world deadass walks around with a fact-check device in their pocket. It's not like it's hard to do a few Google searches. People are just stupid and think they know everything. I second this opinion. Eating animals. Not a vegan or vegetarian. I am a chef who loves his meat. However, with all the meat alternatives on the rise, I reckon this might get phased out in the next 100 or so years. Bottled water. Seriously, what's up with that? I hate going to the grocery store and seeing people buy 3, 4, sometimes 5 cases of bottled water when they go on sale. Burning fossil fuels to generate electricity. Nukes and renewables are the way to go. Even with Chernobyl and Fukushima factored in, nukes cause hundreds of times fewer deaths than fossil fuels, per terawatt hour. I can see circumcisions being banned in colder countries. There's no reason for them outside warm climates besides religion, and with a general shift away from religion it may be stopped. Single-use plastics, fossil fuels, and smoking. If the guys running the world get their heads out of their wallets, that is. Or if we, eat them. Just saying. Vote and be conscious about what you buy and where from everyone. Be supportive of practical actions if you can. Although not all speech is socially acceptable, the narrowing of what is allowed to be said will be tightened, and more of it will become illegal. How we dispose of trash. If more people know about the intricacies of what is happening now, they would be scared, horrified, and outraged. There's a reason why countries are exporting their trash. There's a reason why countries are banning those trash imports. At the rate the Australian police have been acting before the coronavirus, I would say peaceful protesting. They were already working on legislation to ban protesting in Queensland. Full hysterectomies. The qualifications to get them are insane. Some doctors believe women lie to get them done, and some doctors refuse to do them completely. It's sad to think about, but we're going backward when it comes to women's body autonomy. The amount of sugar in all the food we eat. Diabetes and obesity have the same correlation to sugar intake as lung cancer has with smoking. The American measurement system. Seriously, why haven't they switched to metric officially? All the major American car and machine manufacturers, Ford, Cat, etc., now use the metric system. Internal combustion engines in terrestrial use. Cars, trucks, and smaller uses, lawn mowers, etc., should all be electric. The last holdouts will be where total range, and/or the energy density are the overwhelmingly important factors, such as shipping and airplanes. However, 100 years of battery improvement will eat into even those. I think memes might possibly get so overused and annoying that society as a whole decided to get rid of them. Greek life. Some of the hazing crosses a line. Kinda surprised it still exists today. I anticipate dramatic collapse within the next 100 years. The word banned will gradually lose all meaning. If it's completely meaningless by 2120, I wouldn't be surprised. Not recycling/reusing/upcycling. My maker self envisions a future where packaging and products have multiple uses, either because the manufacturer/distributor will reuse the containers, the cities will recycle/reuse, and/or individuals will make reusing and upcycling part of their normal routine. 100 years from now, I could imagine making babies without permission not being socially acceptable. You'll need a license. There are going to be too many people on the planet that live very long lives with not enough resources or jobs. To go with that, also I can see a point where medicine is so advanced that keeping terminally ill people who wish to no longer be here alive will not be socially acceptable either. Eating meat is pretty likely. Meat cloning technology will be at the point where the fake stuff tastes exactly the same as the real stuff. Once that happens, I see a pretty logical chain of events to eating any real meat being seen as immoral. Tail docking and ear cropping of certain breeds of dogs and declawing of cats. It is literally the maiming of animals. If my 6-year-old was appalled when I had to explain why his grandmother's dog's tail was so short, everyone else should be as well. While for working dogs tail docking and ear cropping may be necessary, most cases are for purely aesthetic reasons and need to be discontinued. Openly disrespecting people for their body shape seems to be one of the last socially acceptable prejudice. Opinions. People, and I mean officials and have seen politics do it too, seem to hate others have an opinion that is any different to theirs. My government seems to want one united mind. Extremely high sugar content in foods. A strange thing, I know, but considering how America's obesity rates are still rising, and most of the world is still playing catch up in terms of mechanization. So when they hit the point that we have, and manual labor falls completely out of favor, we'll have to limit the amount of sugar that goes in foods, or we'll end up with a monumental medical bill as a species. Spending hours and resources on maintaining a perfectly manicured grass lawn. The resources are better spent growing vegetables and supporting bees/pollinators, in my opinion. Cops breaking down your door wearing plain clothes, with unmarked police cars, without announcing themselves as police officers, with guns blazing. Journalism without a license. Not strictly on a topic because journalism licenses don't exist. But it's an avenue I see out of this fake news media opinion and lie drivel we get now. Imagine if journalists had to go through training on fact-based journalism, had to agree to tell the truth with a risk of losing the license if they don't. Like a doctor's license. Eating meat. I eat a lot of meat, but it's hard to argue that it isn't cruel to animals. Plus, with an ever-growing population, we're going to start needing to worry about how efficient our food production is, and meat just isn't efficient. Eventually, humanity will look at eating meat as a cruel and stupid thing to do. I love me some meat, but I think our time of growing and killing animals for consumption is coming to a close. Once lab-grown meat and meat alternatives really take off, I think people are going to start looking at meat eaters like we do at people who eat shark fins and rhino penis. Allowing homeless people. In 100 years from now, they'll ask how people could walk past homeless people without offering any help. There will be laws that home them, and eventually, we'll wonder how that wasn't always the way. Hopefully the horrible socially acceptable and hugely unethical treatment of LGBT people. It happens enough and all over the place that yeah, I definitely consider it to be socially acceptable currently. Gender roles. It shouldn't matter what's in your pants or what you believe who you are. You shouldn't be boxed into a corner of what you can and can't do. Does a guy want to wear a skirt? He should be able to do so without being mocked or told that he is in the wrong. Anyone should be able to wear or be anyone whom they want and never is judged by what their gender is. Raising animals for food. Clean meat should be sufficiently advanced and inexpensive to satisfy even hardcore carnivores. While it's already illegal and generally accepted as wrong, I think tipsy driving and texting while driving will become even less socially acceptable in the next decade or two. In the next 100, it could be a non-issue between Uber variations and self-driving cars, maybe public transport. Though the idea self-driving cars honestly scare me. Being extremely toxic or manipulative. Like how hurting people physically and sexually abusive now. Giving other people's phone numbers away. It's totally not a big deal right now, or even a deal period, But I can totally see this being up for debate as data technology and privacy laws get more strict. So much can be found out about you from your phone number or email, and with the way out online data is connected, I can see this being a preventative law for future data privacy protection. Not banned but made rare, surgery. Thanks to improvements in preventative and pharmaceutical medicine, most surgeries outside of fixing damage to the body from direct external causes, broken limbs/organs, are rendered obsolete. Circumcising baby boys. Sure, it doesn't really do any harm, but there are no real benefits and it can greatly affect them mentally and emotionally when they get older. If they want the procedure to be done, that can happen when they're old enough to understand it and give consent. Protesting against your government. This one is already in full swing in places like China and North Korea. I think it's already making its way to the Western world, starting with mass surveillance and information gathering. Best of luck to us all. Openly sharing your thoughts on a topic that you know but don't have a degree in. I'm not against people talking about something without having a degree. I'm against people who say you need one to have a valid opinion on a subject. Thank you for watching Reddit Space. Please subscribe if you love these Reddit stories.